Hey, Jagger, it's the Monday before Thanksgiving, and in our featured story today, the chickens, not the turkeys, may well be coming home to roost for the GOP just in time for the holidays. Welcome to Occupy Democrats, where one click of that subscribe button, that keeps us able to share stories like this great one today. It happened earlier this morning on CNN. The surprise retirement of Marjorie Taylor Greene, presumably to spend more time with this charmer. Well, it may be the first in a series of explosive congressional exits that could end the House Republican majority. Why? Well, as you're about to see in our featured story, it's because a senior House Republican has claimed that the White House has treated them all like garbage. Now wait, that used to be MAGA cool. What's going on? I don't know. It's hard to keep up. Now, before we show you our great exchange from this morning on CNN, let's catch up with the latest on Marjorie Taylor Greene and her strained relationship with the commander-in-chief, fashionably resplendent in a Mamdani maroon scarf.
One of the MAGA movement's most vocal defenders, now on her way out.
I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026.
And today, Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene writing online that she is not running for president in 2028, adding she never said I wanted to.
I just disagreed with her philosophy.
The president telling NBC News in an exclusive interview it's not going to be easy for her to bring back her political career. Trump claiming credit for his former friend turned foe's decision.
Once I left her, she resigned because she would never have survived a primary. But I think she's a nice person.
Mr. Trump had a bitter public falling out with Greene that came to a head over her support for releasing the Epstein files, an issue that split the MAGA base.
Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for.
Greene also citing the president's ties to foreign leaders, saying his policies are not America first.
If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well.
Today, blasting what she calls the political industrial complex for having destroyed our country. And as the president splits with a longtime supporter, he appeared to reach out to the opposite side of the aisle.
Okay, today's featured clip, it's about dissension in the ranks of the GOP that may see more House Republicans bailing out because many have actually grown to hate their jobs in what has become a toxic workplace. Imagine that. In fact, let's do a quick drop by the candy store, so to speak, from late last week and check out how much fun this looks like. Now, on the other side of this, we'll have our great segment of GOP woe and frustration from CNN News Central just earlier today. On the other side of this.
And this should have never, ever happened. This was the biggest fight I think I've seen in Washington, D.C. This is my 5th year here. And this was a fight that we should have never had to wage. It should have been the easiest thing for every single member of Congress. It should have been the easiest thing for the Speaker of the House. It should have been the easiest thing for the President of the United States.
Democrats are using the Epstein tragedy, the unspeakable evils that this guy committed with his trafficking ring and all of the abuses that they made these young women go through. They're using that as a political weapon to try to distract from their failures as a party and to try their best to try to tie President Trump somehow into this wretched scandal.
Okay, let's roll today's reality check report for the sitting House Republicans who may be, in fact, rising and leaving. Here's CNN's News Central bright and early this morning with the lowdown.
All right, new this morning, new fallout from Marjorie Taylor Greene's surprise announcement that she is resigning from Congress. Punchbowl is reporting that other Republican members say that more resignations could be coming. One senior Republican told Punchbowl, quote, "This entire White House team has treated all," that's in all caps, "all members like garbage, all, and Mike Johnson has let it happen because he wanted it to happen." This senior House Republican goes on to say more explosive early resignations are coming. It's a tinderbox. Morale has never been lower. Mike Johnson will be stripped of his gavel and they will lose the majority before this term is out. With us now, Republican strategist and former man of the House, Doug Heye, and Democratic strategist Megan Hayes. Those are some pretty strong words. Doug, what do you make of them?
Yeah, I wish I could be a man of the Senate today, actually. But the reality is, John, we could have had this same conversation last week, last year, 8, 10, 12 years ago. What we've seen in Congress over now a generation is it has become a bad workplace. I remember very clearly walking to my car at 11:59 p.m. on December 31st, 2012, as the clock was striking midnight. I was leaving the office, and I thought, I hate this job. And what we see is this happens more and more for members of Congress. And what's unusual about this is it's members who are in the majority. So the ones who are actually charged with doing things, who are committee chairs, subcommittee chairs, it has become and has been for a long time a bad workplace. And I wouldn't be surprised to see more resignations or retirement announcements come over the coming weeks or months. When members of Congress spend time with their families back home, obviously they've done that for several weeks during the shutdown, but Thanksgiving and Christmas, that's when we see those decisions get made.
They feel, Megan, it seems, based on that quote inside Punch Bowl, sort of bullied by this White House. What do you take from that, and what do Democrats see in this Marjorie Taylor Greene sort of defection?
Look, I mean, I think that they have to decide whether or not they're going to bend the knee to Trump or they're going to do what's right for their constituents. And if they don't bend the knee to Trump, then they get a flacking from the MAGA base. They get harassed online. They get harassed in their districts at town halls. And then they have a primary challenger that becomes extremely dirty and nasty. So I don't blame them for wanting to retire and not have to put up with that. They want to go there and do work for their district and for their constituents, and they're not being able to do that because Trump's agenda isn't working for them and isn't working for their constituents. So I understand why Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to leave as well. She can be a thorn in the side to MAGA, a thorn in the side to Republicans, a thorn in the side to Democrats, and make more money outside of Congress and probably be more effective.
Now, what will Greene's resignation mean for her lucky constituents who voted for her? Well, that depends on who you ask. But we're going to give the local yokels down there in Rome, Georgia, the last word on the matter. Also, R.I.P. Jimmy Cliff.
She'll be missed. She's done a lot for our country and for the Republican Party, and I'm a Republican. Glad to say that. And I think she's done an awesome job. And I hate to see her go.
She don't need to be in office no way, because she got an opinion that only suits her purpose, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't have many opinions on her. I know mostly that she's been negative towards the more progressive crowd, so the younger generation, but for the most part, I have no opinion.